Hey everybody! I love seeing all of the chat out there. And I'm so excited today because we are going to look at stencils in a different way. And I think that you are going to look at your stencil stash a little bit differently after today. We're going to do 3 different techniques that are not new to me, but I always forget about them. And when I pulled out this new paper tray ink release, I just saw it and it just made so much sense. So I think that we are going to have lots of fun today. I'm going to show you what projects we're creating, but I also want you to know that today Paper Tray is giving away a live and a replay giveaway of a $50 gift card. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you have any questions while I'm live, please put in big letters, all caps, question, and then write your question. That helps me. I have a little bitty screen that I can see on it. It really helps me to see what you're asking, if so. So our main card today, but we're going to do 3. Our main card you may have seen on social media. And this card has so much to it that you may not be able to tell just from pictures. So I cannot wait to get into the details because the devil's in the details. It is such a fun card and it's not hard. It may look like it's hard, but it's not. I'm going to take you through it, make it really easy. We're going to have lots of fun playing with the inks today. So here we go. I'm so glad to see all of you here. I saw Arlene was here. I saw Rachel's helping me out in the chat. Thank you. And Julie from Paper Tray will be here as well. So let me turn the camera over so that you can see this card a little bit closer. All right, so many details. So this is from the new release at Paper Tray Ink, and this is the huge blooms. So this flower is massive, and we're gonna take it. So we're doing stencils, we're doing stamps, we're going to do some ink smooshing, we're going to use some pattern paper. It's just going to be an all-around fun time. I'm going to show you a couple of the other cards and we will work on getting these backgrounds together. So this one is a fun watercolor background that we're going to use a stencil for as well. Super fun, can't wait to show you that one. And then we have this one. So this is similar in that background, but we also have done some fun stuff with these. And let me see if I can get you the shine on this. So this one is very sparkly. I know that's hard to see on the camera, but I'm trying to get you that shine. So we're gonna make lots of sparkle and we're gonna do so much on this wonderful background. So excited. So I'm in Tennessee today and I don't know how your weather is. I'm assuming that Sue in Florida is probably the same way, but it is so humid here that my hair was just sticking straight out. So we're going with hair up today and we're gonna have lots of fun. Hair up and we're gonna get messy. All right, let me show you a few things from the new release just because I don't want you to miss them. We will be doing another live stream and I meant to grab my card from it to give you a little preview. I may run and do that at some point. But this is the new bear, Build-A-Bear. Super cute. You've probably seen that on social media. Don't worry, something will be coming with this. This one is one that I'm loving as well. It's the Starry Skies and it's got a stitching. You are gonna die when you see the next live stream that we do. We're doing stars and we're gonna use this in a patriotic card. We're gonna use it in a baby card. It's gonna be lots of fun. That's probably gonna be next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, so stay tuned. This is what we're using today, this Big Blooms Elegant Rose. This is what I created the big purple flower with. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this stamp set. It's also what I did the smaller flowers on the other cards. So we're going to have lots of fun with it today. Yes, this Build-A-Bear, I am dying. Like it is so cute, so cute. And then a few other things from the release, just so you can see some of the new stuff they have. They have this cute little pie. I love the pie. They have some fun cover plates. We've got some frame-worthy die collection, which is huge. I actually had to bend it in half because I needed to fit it in something. That one's really fun. And then there's a lot of patriotic, and you probably saw some of the quilt stuff. You can make like a quilt. I think this would actually look really good as a baby quilt as well, because these cards could look really cute with a baby. And then let's see, of course today we're going to be using our stencil, So Radiant. Let me show it to you. This is the new Stencil, and if you don't have a sunray stencil like this, you definitely need to get one because we're gonna have so much fun with it today. So, yes, so I was seeing that lots of you are doing staycations. I'd love to hear more. Are some of you going to take any really cool vacations this summer? So we're gonna get started with these. Then I gotta show you so excited, so excited. Did y'all see this? Did you see the Amazing Grace stamp set? I am dying. We're gonna use this on our card too, and I know you may not see it on that card, but we're gonna use it, and I'll show you. Once you know it's there, you can't unsee it, and it's so beautiful in the background. So much great release. Yes, tell me if y'all have already been looking at the release, what is like your #1 favorite thing that you've seen so far? So I am gonna start with stencils. We're gonna start getting ready, and I'm going to show you the first technique. We're gonna start with our purple card. And yeah, that Amazing Grace stamp set, oh, I love it so much. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. Okay. Yeah, be sure to hit the like button as you're popping in, and we are having a giveaway during the live. We'll also have a giveaway for the replay. So just make sure you catch both of those options. All right. So I want to show you some paper. So when you're doing these mixed media type projects, you can use watercolor paper. You could use this mixed media. I actually tried this mixed media paper pad from scrapbook.com and was pretty impressed with it. It really holds the ink well. But I'm also going to use some regular watercolor paper in 2 of these cards. So we're going to start with this one as our main background, and then we're going to move to watercolor, and I'll kind of show you some of the differences that I see in them. I think you could do it with either one, but whatever you use for this background needs to be able to hold a lot of water. So we're going to be using a ton of water and ink today. So you definitely want to make sure you had a good quality cardstock that's made to have lots of layers on it. So this is not something that I would do on like a Bristol Smooth or just a plain white cardstock. I would make sure that it's a cardstock that can hold water. Yes, I love that Amazing Grace stamp set too. So we're going to start with this. This is just a mixed media paper pad, and it's kind of a thick white. It's a pretty nice white, a little bit brighter than my watercolor paper, a little brighter white than that, which is nice. Okay, so let's start with this. I'm going to go ahead and just tear us a sheet, and we're going to start by just laying down some color. I'm going to do this one, yeah. And so I definitely need a mat. You need something to kind of protect your desk unless you're using the glass mat. I'm going to use a sticky mat. And we are going to use one of the paper tray ink colors, and we're going to start with ink smooshing. So we got our piece of paper here. I'm just sticking it down. I'm going to grab the color that we're using. This is called Summer Sunrise. And then we definitely need some scrap plastic. You can get this from almost anywhere. I have it just sitting on my desk waiting for this fun technique. So just packaging. You can use anything you want to for this. So we're going to use some packaging. I am going to use, you could use an acrylic block for this, but I'm going to also put this right here because I want you to see where I'm getting my ink from. And I know that that makes my desk a little bit crowded, but hang on. Here we go. We're going to put that right there. You got your piece of plastic, and we're going to use Summer Sunrise. This color is beautiful. It's a yellowy orange. Looks perfect with those purples. So you're going to need some water. And I'm just going to generally spray this area kind of lightly before we start. Just a little bit, okay? Just a couple little splats. Just to get it kind of thinking about it. And then I'm going to use Summer Sunrise. And I wanted this color to be kind of dark on here, so I didn't put a whole lot of water. I did like one little squirt of water, and then we can add more water as we need it. And then we are going to crumble up our plastic. Now that's going to make lots of noise. All right, so we're going to start just adding some color, and if we decide it's too dark or we don't like it, add some water. Okay, just start smooshing it in. Gonna be very free with this because it's just about getting some color down, okay? Doesn't even have to be a whole lot. So, and I'm kind of going in a pattern this way because I know I want to do some stamping and I want to do some stenciling. So I'm just giving it right here, just a little bit of color. Look at how fast that is. So fast. So once I do this, I'm going to give it just a second to dry. Now I haven't put a whole lot of water on it, so it's really not too bad, but we'll still set it aside and we'll do our next one because we've got lots of fun things that need to dry today. Okay, so very easy. I'm gonna get rid of this piece. If you decide you wanna do some splatters on it, you can use your extra ink on here and take it and splatter. That's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Yes, I'm gonna have ink all over my hands today. I did, y'all will be very proud of me. I finally bought me some baby wipes so I could clean up, especially during these kinds of lives where you've got so much stuff going on. So I'm gonna clean up my acrylic block. I'm gonna clean around here so we don't get any extra stuff, and I'm gonna set this one aside. And then we are going to play with lots of ink and water. So just hang on a second. Let me get things out of the way. We'll let this one dry for a minute and then we're gonna add multiple layers to it. But in the meantime, let's make some of these beautiful, beautiful other ones. This technique of stenciling, I actually saw at the Simon Says Create event and I was like, I can't believe I've been forgetting to do this. So it's a really fun, easy way to add a lot of detail. Okay, so we are going to use probably, you're gonna make a mess for sure. So I'm gonna use a mat right here. And this is just to protect my desk. If I wasn't live, I'd probably just wipe my desk off. It's okay to do it either way. I'm just kind of protecting the desk. And I'm gonna go ahead and lay the stencil down. And you see how the stencil has writing on one side? It would be better to turn that writing down because we're gonna lay our card in on this stencil. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. Let me just look at the chat. Yeah. Yes, okay, so we've got this here. Now we need our watercolor paper. And we're going to work on, so you want your watercolor paper, just set it off to the side. Then we're gonna use these 3 distress colors. We are gonna use today, that's okay. We're gonna use spiced marmalade, picked raspberry, and mustard seed. And you are gonna be shocked at what I'm about to do because this is gonna be crazy. We're gonna add the ink directly here, and then we're gonna move this to something that doesn't have the ink behind it. So we're gonna eventually take it off of this. So I'm gonna start with the middle being orange actually with spiced marmalade, and I'm going to take my ink pad and I'm just gonna swipe along the middle. So just get yourself some good coverage. We're gonna use this for several backgrounds, so you wanna have some good coverage. And you can do, you can swipe, you can do it however you want to. Like you could go up and down, you could do however you want. I'm gonna take the orange through the middle, and actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Hang on. So that I keep it consistent. I decided I'm changing my mind on that, hang on. We can do that, right? That's why I've got wipes today. Yay! Let's try it again. Okay, I'm gonna get that off, sorry. So I saw a lot of people like the new Amazing Grace stamp set from the new thing. Have you like picked a favorite card that you love from it? I love some of those bear cards. I love how Bobby Hart did her bear card. It was so cute. And hi from Georgia. Oh, I love that y'all are popping in and telling me where you're from too. Okay, let's try this again. I actually think I'm gonna go pink through the center. I'm gonna go this direction. Let's start with pink because pink is my favorite. So I'm gonna take the pink and kind of go through the center here. And then I'm gonna go out with my orange and yellow. So I'm gonna kind of go orange through here. And I'm just painting it on. So you can do it however you want. You can kind of make stripes. All of these are gonna, what I like about these mixed media cards is like, they're all gonna be a little unique. You know, it's not ever gonna be the exact same. So you can do it however you want. I know I get picky about mine and decided that I had to do it a certain way. But I'm gonna do some orange through here. And I'm trying not to get the pink on here. So I'm just trying to get close. We're gonna add a lot of water to this so they will mix together. Thank you, paper tray. So especially with your yellow, try not to mix them, but getting a lot of ink down. Okay. Yeah, I had to put my hair up today because it is so humid in Tennessee today that my hair is just sticking out everywhere. So y'all won't believe what I'm doing tomorrow. And y'all have to tell me if you're gonna be there, but tomorrow I'm leaving for the Nashville Craft Retreat, and I'm gonna be teaching a class in front of like 150 people, which I've like never done before. So tell me if you're gonna be there. Just adding a little bit more orange right through here. So now we got this big, messy, inky thing, and we're going to use something. If you have a splat box or something that you can lay it down in, then you need to get that out. I think what I'm gonna do actually, because it's not gonna be that much water, I'm gonna use my sticky mat. So I'm gonna take it off of this mat because this mat has so much ink on the background. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay it down here. We'll wipe this one off later, which also actually makes kind of a cool, like we could completely just get a background from that, but we'll go with this for now. Now I'm gonna add a lot of water. A lot of water. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to my cardstock too while I'm doing this. So this is the watercolor cardstock, and we're gonna add a lot of water. Just a lot of water. See how it's all kind of meshing together? It's all gonna flow, okay? And we can always do this multiple times. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to use some tweezers to try to help myself lay it down easier. And I am going to put it down and then try not to move it. Okay, so we're gonna soak that up. Oop, that one we got a little too much water, hang on. That's okay, we'll dry some off. I actually think I might have. So this one we'll use too, don't worry. We have a background like this too. I'm trying to do it right. You know how it goes on live when sometimes you're like, ah, I had it. So I'm gonna dry in between mine a little bit and we're gonna lay it down lighter. And you can always just take a little bit off if you want to. Here's what I'm gonna do to keep from having to dry all that. I'm gonna carefully lift it. And I wanna put a little bit more pink on there too. Sorry. Carefully, carefully. We'll do this. That way we don't have all the extra. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually add just a little bit of extra in this one. So we got just kind of like a crazy one, okay? Making a mess back there. I told you it was gonna be a mess today. We're gonna have a mess, but that's okay. Here we go. We got lots of colored cardstock. So this colored cardstock, since I had so much water, I'm just gonna lay it down. We'll see how we do here. So here's that background. See how I want to have some more pink. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of pink to it. But this one I did not wet the cardstock, so I'm gonna wet the cardstock next time and we'll pick up just a little bit more. And you can always go in and re-ink. It's just that if you get too much water on there, sometimes like the last one, it'll kind of flush underneath, and so then it causes some trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one in over here. I actually need to set these on something so they'll dry. And this one is running just a little bit. This is that other one. I told you we're gonna use it, but it never hurts to, if you got some big globs like that, use your paper towel and just take off the big globs, because we're still gonna use this background. So, but it's okay to dry it just a little bit. And I know it's it's definitely wet, but we're gonna use it because that's the thing about this kind of background. You can do so much. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more of the pink through here because I want a little bit more pink. Let me just see. And then I'm gonna switch out my thing again. And we'll add a little bit of, just a smidge of water just along those pinks, just to see if I can get those moving. Let's do it again. Here we go. I feel like it needs it right here. I feel like that one needs a little bit too. You could do this with a brush if you wanted to. But I'm just using a paper towel. Sorry, I know I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, these are really fun backgrounds, and we're gonna make so many cards from them. Just so fun. And like I said, they never turn out the exact same each time, but it's always fun to like play with it. So let's grab another piece of watercolor paper. This time I'm going to add just a little water to it, so we'll see the difference. Just a little. And we're gonna lay it down. And I'm just trying to kind of lay it in the middle, soak up all our color. Ooh, that one needs just a little bit more. I'm gonna add some more color to it. But see how I got these to go? Let's do it one more time. We're gonna start and just add more color to it and do a couple more prints. So this is what I think that's what people call it, is stencil printing. It's basically like instead of just ink blending through your stencil, you're using it to create negative space and be able to put lots of water on it. So it's a really, really, really fun. Does take lots of paper towels, lots of pieces of paper, but you'll see, we'll come up with some really good ones. So for this one, I'm going to use this again, which needs to be wiped off. Sorry, this is a lot of cleanup for a live stream, but it's gonna be super fun. Let's add just a little bit more. This one, I think I want it to be heavier on the pink. So I'm gonna do some pink kind of in the center. It doesn't have to be neat. I'll do a little bit of orange through here. A little orange through there. Little orange. Little orange. Okay. And then a little bit of yellow. And on this one, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to the background, but I'm also gonna add more water to my cardstock, and we'll look at the differences. So you can do so many, it's just really like freeing and fun to play with. So we'll add a little bit to this. We're gonna move it onto a different mat so that it doesn't get all the way around it. Get it moving a little bit. And then I'm really gonna saturate my cardstock too. So we're gonna do just a little bit more water on the cardstock. Okay, and we'll move this to another mat because remember, it's gonna be gooey if we don't. So I'm moving it to another mat. So I'm lucky that I have 2 of these mats. If you don't have 2 mats, you could do this in a splat box. You could do all kinds of things. But let's go here. Carefully. Boom. Set that over there. And then we got a little bit more wet piece. So let's see how this goes, okay? Ooh, I like that one. And you can roll, see how I can roll it and like kind of get my colors moving a little bit? You can also dry that off, but I can get those colors mixing because I have a little extra water on it. Are you seeing that ability? So I love it. It just looks like the perfect little sunset. So I really like this one. If you want to add and, you know, cheat a little bit, you can take it and you can kind of pull it out so that you can make that stripe there. But I like how it just runs into those little areas. That one's a little bit. So this one's my favorite one so far, I think. Now, I'm going to show you what I can do just to make a crazy background. Let's do one now since we did one with really wet. Let's show you the difference in not very wet. Glad I cut a lot of pieces of this. So this one, I'm not going to wet it at all, okay? And we'll see what happens. We're just going to take extra ink. So just a great way to make lots of cards. And this one, the bottom doesn't have as much, but this would be the perfect, look, you could cut that card right there and it would look amazing. So on this one, my bottom didn't do as well. I wonder if I can set it down again. It may just mean that I need some more water right through here. So I'm gonna make it real wet and really spread that color, and then we'll do one more print. Okay, so really spread my color. I'm kind of just like making sure it all goes in there. And then we're gonna do another print. This one may be more like the whole thing because I did so much water. But that's kind of what I want as the background. I know that you may not notice this, but this is a lot like the background when it dries. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more color to it just by tapping it on here. We'll just tap it into some color and we'll just add some of these beautiful color combos into our thing here. You can use your whatever this is, piece of paper. Sorry, I can't remember what it's called. Let me set this one aside. So I could also do the bottom half of this one in here if you wanted to just add some more color, but let me show you. I like this one. I'd like a little bit more pink, so I'm gonna ink splotch some pink right in the middle. So just remember, you can do so many things with these. Like I wanted a little bit more pink on this one, so I'm gonna make myself a pink, and I'm gonna add a little, I'm gonna dry this just a little bit. Just kind of dry some of it off. And then we're gonna pick up some of that pink too. So I'm gonna just pick up pink, I'm just splotching it in there. Okay. And then you can use your water if you want it to smish around more, you can do this. So I know this isn't exactly the stencil print, but it gets you those colors that would be nice to use in a background. So this is gonna be the background of one of our cards. And if you want darker color, you can get it. You just need to give it a second and maybe dry off a little bit of your water, which this has a little bit of something on there, and add some more pink. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more pink in that section. That way we've got all the colors. We got the yellow, we got some orange, and some pink. And you'll see, once we put this together, it's crazy how awesome these things look together. All right, so I know that's a lot. Were there questions? I'm sorry, I was not able to look at comments. Are there questions about it? It's basically just playing with your stencils. We're gonna create we'll use our extra to create just a background that has the same colors as our card. And then we use the other ones. This is probably my favorite so far, but it's kind of loose and it's still the sun ray, but it just gives that beautiful look. I just think it looks more, I don't know what you want to call it, but I just love it. And this is actually yellow. I know that looks a little bit green right there, but for some reason my color in my camera is looking a little bit green, but this is really just pink, yellow, and orange. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Now I told you we needed to clean this up, so let's clean that up with a piece and see what happens. Let me get some of this off. And tell me if you got questions, anything. Have you ever tried this with stencils? That's what I'd like to know. Have you ever done this? I was playing with it at Simon Says Create, and it was really fun to play with at the Ranger table because they do a lot of distress inks, and I just haven't tried it much. So I was like, I've got to try this out. We've got ink for multiple things here, so we're gonna make us one more background. So I've got 2 things of ink here, and we're gonna run at least one more of these through here just to see what it does. Because it's fun to play with. So I'm gonna add, this one's got a lot of water, but I'm gonna add some more water to this side because I need to clean it anyway. So if you gotta clean it, why don't you just go ahead and get your print from it? Okay, so I'm gonna add some water here and we're gonna see what this looks like. And then I'm gonna slowly pick it up. It's like tie-dye. Yeah, it's really fun to just create lots of backgrounds. Yes, I will tell you. Okay, so Sharon's asking some questions. I will get that. Okay, so she says mist the paper and pick up that color. Let's mist the paper and see what happens. I'm just adding some extra details from over here too. Fun. Okay. I got one more paper. So this one we're gonna mist it and then we're gonna pick some of that ink up, although I've already added some water, so let's see what happens. I really want some more pink in here, but let's go this way. And I don't profess to be an expert at all of this. I just had fun playing with it. So if y'all are wondering why I'm doing it, because I thought it looked so good with the sun ray, and I think it ended up turning out so amazing on these cards. So that's kind of what we get if we miss the water on it. I might miss that just a little bit. Just another great tie-dye looking background. Okay, so we got so many things back here drying. Let's give those a second. And let's work on our, I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna answer questions, and then we're gonna go back to, we're gonna do some spritzing with this stencil as well. We're gonna use some distress spritz, and I'm gonna show you what I did with that first card, which is really cool, okay? I know we're doing lots of messy stuff. Lots and lots of messy stuff. So I have to clean in between. Yeah, so people were asking, what is the Simon Says stamp event like? So Paper Tray was there, and I am coming out with a big video on the Simon Says stamp event to kind of show you all the different make and takes and such. It's crazy. I mean, there are definitely a lot of people there, but it's lots of fun to get to see all the stores and get to make lots of fun crafty projects. So I do recommend. It's pretty fun. Okay. All right, now we are going to use a splat box because we're going to use Distress Spritz in this. Okay, so I'm going to have to move this. I know you're going to see my little Distress Spritz here. We're going to use, I think this is Melissa's favorite color, and she's the one who kind of got me being like, I need to try this. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to stamp it first. Let me feel how dry it is. It feels pretty dry. Let me stamp it, then we'll, no, it doesn't really matter. Either way, it's going to have to dry. The stamp's going to dry faster though, so let's stamp first. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I'm just, thank you, Tammy, yes. Okay, let's stamp first, then we're going to spritz. We're going to stamp with Amazing Grace, and I'm going to get just an acrylic block, which we've already used somewhere. Let's figure out where I put it. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to use this, and we're going to put our Amazing Grace stamp on here, and we're going to stamp in the same color. So just going to add my Amazing Grace stamp to here, and we're going to add, oops, I just added it the wrong way, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to add it here. I'm not worried about this top Amazing Grace. I'm just using some of the body of it. And I'm going to put this on a flat surface. So I'm going to use one of these sticky mats as well, just to hold it down. Okay. So I'm just holding this flat, and this is pretty dry. So this paper this is that mixed media paper. It dries pretty quick. I mean, is it dry to the core? Probably not, but I can't move the color around, which is nice. So now we're going to go back with our Summer Sunrise, which is what we made this with the ink splotching. Yes, anybody can attend. Okay, so we're going to just add a little bit of ink to this. And I'm just kind of doing like the upper section, and we'll do a little low. Let's just kind of put it in one little area, and it's not really going to matter. You're just however you want to do it. But I liked having it up here where you could see the music. So I'm going to stamp here. You see how we got that? Doesn't that look beautiful? And it says Amazing Grace right there. So if somebody's wondering. So when I was making this card, I thought that the reason that I used the Sentiment Strength was because, to me, this card's kind of like a tribute to someone who's sick and struggling like with cancer. That's who I was thinking of it when I was making it. And to me, even if they don't notice what that says back there, the whole point of the card is to, I'm gonna try not to get choked up. Sorry. Is to show strength. And so, you know, what other way can we get strength but this? So, sorry, it gets me choked up. But anyway, so here's how it looks. Try not to get choked up. So look at how beautiful that is. Now we're gonna add our sun ray, and I'll try not to get too emotional about this card because I just really loved it, and I had somebody in mind when I was doing it. So I'm gonna put this in a splat box. Now, since we just stamped, it dries pretty quickly. So we don't have to worry about that drying, but we do need to worry about it staying flat. And that's part of the problem, is like some of these things kind of warp. So let me put it on something. Let's tape it down a little bit, because we don't want it to be running around and not working the way that it needs to, because we want this stencil to stay well. So I'm actually gonna, and I know this is kind of weird, but I'm actually gonna tape a little bit on this paper towel. I know that seems weird, but here we go. I'm gonna tape just a little bit, just to help hold it down. Hold on, I have to wipe my nose just a second. Okay. Yeah, it just, yeah. Sorry. Thank you, Rachel. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional on y'all today. But I wanted you to know what this card, what I was thinking when I was making the card, because there is a thought process, and that Amazing Grace stamp to me is like, it's kind of like the card is telling a story, you know, like you're telling a story. And when I first saw the word strength, which is in the stamp set that we're going to use, I was like, I don't know what. And then I immediately thought of my person who needed that. And I thought, you know what? It would be so cool to create like multiple layers that just have meaning to them. So you're going to see here, I've got this stencil down, but I don't want to spray the whole thing. I want my sun rays to be right here. So you can see that I've done this before, and I like the torn edges, so it looks like it's just kind of haphazard. So I just tore up some pieces of paper, and I'm going to use them as kind of my guides on where I'm spraying. We're going to be using this fossilized amber, and I'm going to put a couple of extra pieces here too, just to kind of cover things up. You can use sticky notes, you can use whatever you want, but I'm just going to use, I have lots of extra pieces of paper, and I kind of like how these little extra pieces of paper look with the spray on them. I'm going to use them for another project. So I'm just using my extra, I was trimming my paper today, and I had all these little extra things, and I thought this would be great. That way I can get some spray on them, but it's doing what it's supposed to for my project. So we're going to have rays here, here, and a couple of little rays like right here. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? I know, I'm sorry, I'm just like I'm crazy today, right? I know, sorry. So I have to wipe my nose because my nose is running out because I got choked up. Okay, here we go. So this is what we're using. This stuff has to be shaken up a lot, okay? So you see how much stuff is on the bottom? It's got so much beautiful shine, but you need to shake it. So I'm gonna stand here and shake it and answer questions. Yeah, this is super fun. Just like a lot of fun, just play with it. Like I've just got strips of paper here and I'm just playing. So just have fun. You got to let yourself enjoy and get inky every now and then. I know most of the time I try to keep everything in the lines, but I really I just enjoyed the creative freedom of doing this. Okay, so here's my spritz. You can spray hard or you can spray soft, whatever your choice is. I'm just going to spray, and I'm going to be covered in this gold, okay? But I'm just going to spray, get some dots, and then I'm going to move and spray this direction. Okay? All right, and then we're going to remove our little pieces here. Move all these, can use those later. I'm gonna have the sparkliest hands in the West, in the East, or the South, wherever I am. Okay, so you see how we've got some here, and I like it to be kind of light, so I'm actually gonna take a paper towel and just get a little bit of it off, okay? So I'm just kind of gonna go and just tap at it, and if you want less, you can. I'm just gonna tap at it partially to keep my hands clear. And remember, we're putting a huge, like you can do just a few little spritzes just to kind of adjust and make sure that everything's got something on there, but we're mainly creating just a few rays. Do you see that? And so it's all pointing to the center, which is going to be our huge floral. So we've got Amazing Grace, we've got our ink smooshing, we've got this beautiful gold. I'll show you how shiny it is in a second. Rays down here. So to me, it's like bringing light to someone who needs it. Don't get me going again. Sorry. Apparently I'm a little too emotional. No, it's Nicki Hearts Cards. Yeah, I love that song. It was my grandparents' favorite too. All right, so let me wipe off some of this gold. Look at how gold my fingers are gonna get. We're gonna make a mess today. And I need to wipe this off. This is gonna need to dry just a little bit. So let's make our beautiful, beautiful floral now. And we're gonna use pattern paper because once again, like I said, I've been playing with all of this stuff and having so much fun. Just trying to like stretch the boundaries, you know? Just kind of go with that. Now, of course, I didn't use a protection for my desk, so I'm gonna need to wipe some of this off because you're gonna have spray everywhere. We're definitely gonna have some sparkles, probably on my computer. See how much gets off there? And I'm gonna wipe my hands off a little bit too because I just sprayed them everywhere. I meant to wear gloves and forgot. So this one is fossilized amber. That's what we just sprayed with. It looks amazing with Summer Sunrise. These two look really good together if you have the inks from Paper Tray Ink. Okay. Yeah, so I know that the recipient may not always understand what all is going on behind the card, but some of it's kind of therapy for you too. You know, like you feel like you're giving them a story of how you feel. So I think it's kind of nice. All right, let's look at this huge floral while we do this. So I've got these two. The floral is massive, okay? And we're gonna cut us some pieces. Sorry, I dropped the splat box. I'm gonna move our splat box because I think we're done with it actually. So I'm gonna move it over here. All right, so this floral has a lot of pieces. It's got this really large back piece. So this one, and this one go together for the large flower. Then there's these two that are the small flowers. So we're gonna do a decent amount of die cutting. I can answer questions while I die cut, but we're gonna start with some pattern paper. And you might have seen this paper before. It's becoming a favorite of mine. It's called, I think the paper pack is called Share Your Art or Share Your Heart maybe. And this purple looks so good. It's almost like you've stenciled the background of your flower. So we're gonna cut out our flower in this purple, and then we're gonna add some ink blending to this. So let me show you how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna skip one of these layers of the flower because I didn't feel like I wanted to cover up since this one's so big. Let me show you how big that is. This is the base layer if you want to use it, but it is massive. So I went on and decided to do just this size, and it's still a huge flower. So I ended up skipping this section, and I'm just gonna do 2 layers per flower. So we've got these two that go together, and then we got these two that go together. So this one and this one. So it's a 2-layer flower, which I think when you're using that pattern paper, that's perfectly fine. But this is a big flower, okay? And we're gonna be putting it here, so we need to make sure we've got room. So that's why I decided not to put this larger one behind it. So we'll do flowers and get those cut out. Whoops, sorry. Dropping a couple of my clouds from the other side. Gosh, that star is, y'all are gonna die when you see that live stream. I promise I won't get emotional on the star one. No, I won't. I won't promise anything. So let's look at these two. We're going to do some die cutting, and then we're going to do some ink blending. Let me see. We got questions? I love when it covers a lot of space like that too, because you can really be fun with your background and do, like, if you're overwhelmed easily by those backgrounds and think they're too much, it covers up a big portion of it, but you still get to see all that creativeness that you did. Yes. So tell me too, let's see, who has experimented with ink smooshing? Have y'all done this before? I love doing some ink smooshing, so I'm just curious as to how many of you have tried it previously. Now I'm just going to cut so this I can fit more on my little plate here. I'm just going to cut around that, but I'm cutting out lots of flowers, and we need we're going to do at least 2 flowers, so it's basically 4 pieces of die cutting. Okay, so we'll send those through. Yeah, these flowers cut out look so good. That's good. So I think did I see somebody's going to be at the Nashville Craft Retreat tomorrow when or I guess technically for y'all it starts Thursday. I'm going to be in Nashville all weekend, so I'll be answering things, but if you see me a little less on social media, it's because I'm teaching a live class, and y'all please send me all of your good wishes and lack of being nervous energy, okay? Okay, so here's how these look cut out. This is my favorite of the pattern papers too. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And why I went with purple is because I was just trying to, I wanted to create with that sunrise, and purple and kind of like an orangey yellow looks so good together. So we got these 2 pieces, but like I said, we're going to ink blend so this will stand out. So let's get our little flower too. Got our little flower. I love that they imprint it with the die so that you can see where to line this up. I know that may be hard for you to see, but it's imprinted so that I can line this up perfectly. I love that about these dies. So really nice with a floral die to do that. So that's all that we need from our purple. We're going to ink blend it. We also need to cut out some leaves. So I'm going to cut out a few leaves, and I'm going to do the pattern paper for the leaves too, because I'm just trying to, you know, sometimes I just like grab a supply and say, I'm going to use this, and it always turns out better than I expected. So if you're digging around and you just see something you haven't used in a while, just grab it and play with it. You might be pleasantly surprised. So let's cut out a few leaves. While I've got these little ones out too, I'm going to cut out some of the mixed media paper. I'm going to cut a couple more of these, actually 3 more of these, because we're going to use it on another card. So we'll go ahead and get it cut so we don't have to do that later. And I'll answer questions. Oh, did you try it? I'm sorry. I know it was kind of like a mess. I'm sorry. I know that it always like goes a little crazy, and you know, you're less nervous about doing it when you're doing it by yourself. So then I'm doing it in front of a crowd. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happening? But I've got lots of card bases and cards that I can use with it. Okay, so I've got lots of leaves. I'm going to use, and I don't know which pattern paper this is, whoever's in there from Paper Tray. If you can tell me which pack it's a part of, I do not know, but it's a green. So it's this green pattern, and I thought this would look really good for the leaves. So, ooh. So let's get some leaves going too. Some leaves and some more flowers. The next flowers are going to be, we're going to do a fun technique with them. So the next flowers are going to be ink smushed. So, and like pretty intensely ink smushed. So just hang on, and I'll do those in white. I'm going to use the white that we used for the base of our big floral card, because it's so thick and it holds water so well that we can ink smush, and it's basically already dry and ready for us to go on and do stuff with our card. So let's cut out a couple of these flowers. Yeah, it's a pretty green paper, and I'm going to add ink blending to it too. So even if you've got some pattern paper and you're not sure what you think about the color, just think of it as what is the color in the middle of your whatever you're doing. So if you want a light green and then you want to move to a dark green, grab a light green pattern paper, and I think you'll be shocked at how awesome it looks. So let's get all these going. Sorry. Lots of stuff on my desk. Let me get a few things cleaned up here. Y'all don't let me forget that when I go to do the, at the end, I need to show you the next projects that are coming up because we got a couple of lives planned with this release. So these are going to be for one of our cards that we did, our Stencil smooshing, and it's going to look amazing. So just hang on. Okay, and then look at how cute these greens look. Look at those dots and stuff. It's got little dots of blue. It's got some white, some green. So I'm going to cut a decent amount of greenery so that we have it. We'll cut another layer. So tell me, are you more, like, do you get messy like this with your card making, or are you more of a clean and simple type card maker? I think I'm kind of both. Love to hear what y'all think. See what you think. Let's go here. I'll cut some more white flowers too. Just doing some die cutting, so y'all just chat with me while you can. Both? Okay. Yeah, the green paper is pretty. Paper Tray, did you tell what the name of that the green paper was? Did she find that? It's one she sent me a long time ago, so I'm not exactly sure what the name was. Good, Arlene. I'm glad you get messy too. I'm glad I'm not the only one who likes to just sometimes get messy. Sometimes it's like a little badge of honor to be like, look at my messy hands. I've been creating art. And you can pay attention to the way this pattern goes. I do not. I'm just going to put mine on here. It's kind of the pattern doesn't really rotate, so it doesn't matter what's going on in the background. We're going to do so much stuff to it. So here's our next white flower that we'll ink smush. One more white flower, and we'll be ready to do some ink blending. Hello. Hi, Cat Scrapper. Yeah, it does vary every day for me too. So I'm trying to get to this point now where hang on, I'll wait till I come back over there so you can see me. I'm trying to get to a point where if I make the background that I'm going to use it at some point, got myself a bin going, and I'm thinking about doing a live stream of just turning backgrounds into cards. So if that's something that interests you, put yes in the comments and I'll know. It would be all different companies because it's just a pile of backgrounds I've made and stuff like that. But if you're interested in a live like that, let me know. It'll be a lot of decision making. So yes, pattern paper. This one, let me get these. Okay, so we got our white flowers. I promise we will use those later. We're just hanging on to those. I wanted to go ahead and cut them while I was already cutting things so that you wouldn't have to wait for me to cut them later. And then we got this. Now, sometimes this pattern paper is a little bit thinner. So just be careful, like, you know, when you push it into this, sometimes I need to use like a little pokey tool to get it off because I've got it going into this magnetic mat and it'll want to stick there. So you don't want to rip your leaves off. So just carefully get it off. Like these little pieces, sometimes I'm going to have to use, it's almost like it indented into the magnet a little bit. So you have to carefully get it off. Okay, different ways to use the same die. That's a good idea, Sharon. Yes, okay, so I see lots of yeses. You'd like me to just take some backgrounds and just fly by the seat of my pants? Would that be okay? I'm thinking about doing that sometime this summer because I want to clear some of them out. And I know that it would be fun to go through the process of it with you. Good. I've also considered, and y'all tell me too, after we finish that question. The other thing I've been considering, I love to chat with y'all about my possible ideas because I like to see what people are interested in. I've also considered doing a, like, every single way I can think of to use a stencil, or every single way I can think of to use a die, or, you know, things like that, or an embossing folder. Some of them would be such long videos that you couldn't do that, but it just, like, I think that would be fun video options as well. Okay, so we're gonna get out our mat again. I'm gonna use my pink mat because I'm using purple ink, and that purple ink will stain. So we'll use this. I need to make sure I cleaned it up, okay? Yeah, I think I got it. Let's start with our purples. Okay, so we got our big flower and our small one. And so I'm going to put them out like this because I just want to do just a smidge of ink blending around these, but these I want to make them fairly dark so they show up with this pattern paper. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad y'all like those. Awesome. Let me grab the purple ink. This is the one that I used for this. It's one of the die inks. Is called Amethyst Allure. This is from Paper Tray, and it's a pretty purple that goes well. This background color right here is a lot like their cardstock color called Lilac Grace, and this color looks really nice with it. Thank you, Susan. Good. I'm glad y'all think that sounds like a good idea. So, do y'all ever do that where you just make backgrounds and just make so many and then you're not really sure, like, okay, well, I'm going to use some of them, but I may not use all of them, and I just don't like to waste them, so I'm going to try it out. I've been keeping a bin, and I've got quite a hefty bin, so we could definitely make some videos out of that. So I'm taking just a little bit of this purple ink, and I'm going around the edges of this one, and I think it just gives it a little bit of definition. So we're getting it just a little bit darker and going around it, and I know that may not be very easy to see, but that's what we're doing. So just going around these edges. You see how that makes that just more visible versus this? Sorry, I'm reading a couple comments. Good, okay. Yes, backgrounds do come in handy sooner or later, that's for sure. I am all for if they're driving you crazy and you can't figure something out and you don't have any ideas, I'm all for like decluttering your craft room, but I also think that sometimes it just takes looking at them with a different perspective to think about what you could do to use them up. And I think I'm going to feel super accomplished when I do that because, you know, I've been saving them for probably a year and hadn't done anything with them. So I'm going to be glad to just kind of get that going. So I'm just bringing this purple just kind of from the edges. You see how that's got a little bit more definition? I know with the light right now you may not see it great. These we're going to do really dark. So just put lots of purple on them. I'm putting a lot of ink. Just really, really inking it up because you want to be able to see the definition. Okay, so look at the difference in that color ink and this flower. You see how that makes a difference? So just put plenty of ink on your small pieces to make them show up. I know that kind of takes away some of their pattern paper look, but it really helps you see them better. And these edges are going to look better if they're a little bit dark. So I'm just kind of going along the edges again. So getting that there, it just makes it stand up off the paper. So now I'm going to add a lot of ink to the center. And you can still see some of the definition of that pattern paper, but it's not, it's definitely covered up with the darkness, but I think I love the way that it shows through because it does have those natural white little dots. So it's almost like you've ink splattered. You can see those white dots somewhat, but it's just subtle. Okay, so look at this, that one. I think I'm gonna make this one just slightly darker, but can you see? No, it's so bright in here today. It's a little hard to see, but you see how you can still see the dots and the pattern through that darkness? Yeah, so let's add just a little bit more depth to this. I'm just gonna add just a little bit darker because ink sometimes does dry a little bit too and get lighter, and I want this to be really defined. So add a little bit more ink. Look how that makes it go together. Just careful with that. Look at how beautiful that looks. Still think I might add just a little bit more right here. Yes. I know, I wonder too. I bet Julie can tell us. I'm gonna tell you. I'm loving this huge flower. I know they do these every so often, but it's really fun to play with this huge flower. So fun. I really love the stars from this release too. You know, I love shaped dies. I feel like I need to add just a little bit more color right on that edge. Okay, so we can assemble these now, and then we'll set them aside, and we'll do the greenery. So I'm just gonna glue it together. Very easy. Yeah, I love all sizes of flowers too. So yes, you could do this with some type of like tape runner. I'm just putting little dots of ink around it. I know that's probably more time consuming than some, but I like having the ability to move this around. And if I have it glued, I can move my pieces a little bit, especially when I'm placing the center of a flower. So you'll just see me add teeny tiny little dots. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Rachel's going to give out her own little giveaway. Thank you, Rachel. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. So Rachel's going to do a giveaway, and then we'll do a live giveaway in a little bit. You surprised me, Rachel. I didn't know you were going to do that. That's awesome. Okay. All right, so here's this one. I'm going to set a little thing on it, but look at that. Does that look beautiful or what? Let's see if paper tray's there. You want me to randomly scroll, or did they figure it out? Okay, here I'm just going to cover this up with a little thing, and we're going to add this one. Now, when you've used something really dark like this purple, you definitely want to wipe your mat off before you go into the green, or you're going to create a mess. I do, and I know somebody said this earlier too, I do think that those sun rays do look like you're peeking through the clouds. They look really pretty. Well, while Rachel is doing that giveaway, I'm going to get this mat cleaned off. That looks good. Those look so good. Let me hold these up to you so y'all can see them. Look at those cute pattern paper flowers. Oh, so many details on this card. I'm so excited. Yeah, the dark ink does make it look like a solid, but if you see it up close, you'll see there's some. I am looking for my wipes here. Let's wipe this off just a little bit. Since it had purple on it, you definitely want to wipe this off. I started using these wipes this week because they are just water, and I definitely like them. I think I just got them off Amazon. So far, they've been good. I know y'all probably have certain brands you like. Not too bad. They are very wet, so that's good. But sometimes it takes it a minute to dry because it doesn't have any alcohol in it, so I usually go through and just kind of dry it off a little bit. So next we're going to use green, and we're going to use this color, which is a really fun color, prairie grass. Okay, so we're going to use this color for the foliage. Okay, so Tammy won. I think that's what it is. Oh, good, Carmen. Thank you. So I like to line up like leaves together, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I like to create some variation in my coloring. Are y'all doing okay on where the camera is placed today? Does it need to zoom in anymore, or are you good? Is everybody good with that? I think I might be a little further away than I have been before. And then the two little ones. And this is just so I can kind of vary the ink blending a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use Prairie Grass, which is another color from Paper Tray. And I'm going to use, let me see if this has got any ink on it. I'm going to use a smaller brush because these are little bitty. So here we go. We're just going to take it from the bottom and just add a little bit of depth to these. It just gives them that little bit of stuff. And some of them I'm going to go over the whole pattern and change the color, and some I'm going to stay. Like this one I'm going to do very dark, and it's just to have some difference. So this one I'm going to do like we did our purple centers, really dark, so that it just stands out and you get some variation in your leaves there. So you'll see I'm adding lots of ink to this one, but this one I'm keeping it pretty straightforward. I don't know, is this a new color from Paper Tray? Yeah, it does. A little ink does go a long way, that's right. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the ones that are alike, and then I can decide where in this spectrum I want the others to be. So I think I want my lightest one to be this one, just because it's gonna be a little harder to ink blend anyway. And I'm gonna take these and make them just a little bit darker. So I'm coming from the bottom and going up on these leaves. Yeah. Yeah, so if you only have one ink, you can do a lot of different options. You can create, you know, light, medium, super dark. You can add a little bit of black to it and create another color. It's just nice. So these are going to be really dark. These are kind of in between. This one's going to be my lightest. I'm just going to mainly do kind of the center of it and leave the rest of it light. So I'm kind of doing the stem. You see how it's lighter than this one? It just is fun. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use every single one of these, but let's get them all ink blended. The other thing I'm going to add to our beautiful floral card is we're going to use a little bit of metallic thread. Have y'all ever used metallic thread on your cards? It's kind of like ribbon, but it's a little bit, it's thinner. Yes. So Paper Tray, do you see that question? Do you have ink refills? I'm pretty sure they do, but that's a good question. This one's going to be more like these leaves because they are the same type of leaf. So I'm going to kind of bring some dark at the bottom and then bring it up. So there we go. Lots of different color leaves. You want to see those up close so you can see that pattern. See how you can still see the pattern in it, and you can still see the blue. The dark one you can't see the pattern as much, but you can still see it in most of those colors. Okay, thin cord. Yeah, I bet it is hot and humid in Florida. Okay. So I'm going to show you how I use metallic thread. Doesn't mean that it's the only way to use it, but I'm going to show you what I like to do with it. We'll take all these little things off here, and we're going to go back to our background, make sure it's dry, so we can start assembling this card. It loves to do that to me, doesn't it? It's probably about time to Paper Tray. If you want to, okay. Rachel says zoom in just a little bit. Let me try to do that really quick. Is that too much? Right there? Is that better? Is that better for you? Y'all just say yes or no if that's better, if you want me to go back further. Okay, let's see how our card's doing here. Let's see if it's dry. Yep. It's a little bit warped, but we'll fix that. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming off the edges, kind of right through here, and then we'll make it nice and flat. Okay, closer is good. Sorry about that. I did zoom it in today, but I didn't zoom it in as much as previously. I noticed when I started looking at the camera, I was like, I don't think I've got that zoomed as much. Sorry about that. Look at how amazing this is going to look. Oh, I can't even wait. I can't even wait. Okay, let's trim it just a little bit. So I'm just going to trim. I've got just a little bit where the stencil went over there. That's just a little edge. So I'm just going to trim just a smidge, just to make sure we got color all the way. So just taking that little edge off. Everything else is completely covered all the way to the edge, so I'm good with that. Okay, let's get some foam backing to make this more straight. So you want to straighten it out before you start applying things. See how crooked that can be? Whenever you're using a lot of water, sometimes you can have a little bit of warping, and that's okay. This also probably could be allowed to dry just a little bit more. Let me heat it up just a little bit. I'm going to heat it just to make sure it's good and dry. Yeah, make sure. Yes, thank you, Sharon. Okay, so we're going to... The other thing about the heat is that sometimes it will decrease the warping. So it never hurts to just add a little heat. Make sure you got it good and dry. And a lot of times you can change the warp of the paper just by adding a little heat to it. So never hurts to try it. Go in the middle where it was. Ooh, this is gonna look beautiful. Let me see if I can catch that light. So this one we did the partial. We did that partial stenciling. See how we did that? Look at how beautiful that gold is. Oh my goodness. Oh, that looks lovely. Okay, and then we've got our Amazing Grace up here that we stamped and right through here. So let me get this straight and then we're gonna arrange our flower on it. So the way to get it straight, see how it's warped? You want to start with just a little small amount here, and then you want to slowly press it in, okay, and try to keep it straight. It's not always going to be absolutely perfect, but if you can hold it straight, it's going to be better than not. So we're pretty close, pretty straight there. You can always try to press it down if you don't feel like it's exactly right, but look how much straighter that is if you add a foam that's a double-sided foam adhesive. Sorry, my comments stopped rolling up here. I love the shine. Let's just show that shine again. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. So that's that distress spritz that we did through the stencil. And to me, like I said, I have a theme on this card. To me, it's not super obvious when it's laying like this, but when somebody picks it up, it's like glory. You see what I mean? Or like just irradiating love, I guess you could say. So I know this is like a really deep card for me, but I just really love how it all came together. And to me, it all, I know that's kind of weird, but my artistic meaning is like really well portrayed in here. Like just sending out love. You know, I can't go into it too much. I'll get upset again. But yeah, it's just so beautiful. So let's add these flowers. So I'm going to kind of put this guy where he's looking this way. And you know, we got flowers, we've got some greenery, so we got a little bit that we can kind of adjust, and I want to be able to see all parts of it. I want to make sure I can see my sun rays. I want to make sure we can get some of this wording. I want to make sure we got some of that background color that's so beautiful. So before I put anything down, I'm going to add just a little bit of foam tape to these because I want to be able to put some beautiful gold cord. So we're going to use this DMC, just really thin metallic cord. Just got it at like Hobby Lobby or something. So it's beautiful, but we need a little foam tape so that we can attach these to them. So I'm going to add just a smidge, and I'm going to use a really thin one. That's like 1 millimeter. Okay, this is from scrapbook.com. Some places make some different thin ones. I'm going to use really thin, just to give it enough lift to put some of that stuff under there, okay? So I'm also going to use my acrylic block. Where is that acrylic block? Oh, it's got Amazing Grace on it. I'm going to use that just to make sure I've got this as flat as I can get it. Okay. The other thing I like to do anytime I have flowers is to kind of bend the petals up. Yeah, it's like it's just radiating love, you know? Okay, so I bent my flowers up. Can you see the difference in that? Just bend them up just a little bit. And the other color on this side is orange, which is perfect because it matches that. So if you see a little bit of the orange, no big deal. I'm not going to bend this one as much, and I'm probably going to keep this one perfectly flat. Sorry, I won't do that with mine. Okay, this one's going to just get put down here. I'm going to go about right here. And about right here. Okay, now we're going to stuff some of this under there. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little edge here, and I'll stick some more under there. But here's what I do. I'm going to roll it in my hands like this. Okay. And I'm going to just roll it around my fingers. You see how I've done that? Okay. And then I am going to take it and we're going to put it behind the flower. I'm going to add a little bit of glue back there. You can do whatever you want, and we'll just kind of adjust. I'm going to put like a decent amount of glue here. So I'm going to put like a drop, see how I've got that there? And we're going to use that to hold this string. And I've got it all kind of in a nice circle. And then I'm going to use my little tweezers, and we're going to slowly kind of stuff it in here. And if you've got edges that you don't want, you can take those and you can put them other ways, but we're just kind of stuffing it under. Takes a little bit of effort. And just kind of pushing it under there into that glue. Got one stubborn one here. It doesn't want to go. There's some glue down there, and then you can arrange it how you want. You can also cut off the edges if you want to. So we just got a little bit of stuff under there. So if you don't like these little extra edges, see how there's like a one right here? We can trim it off so it looks like it's all. I have to do it with my big scissors. Actually, I've got some other ones that are good. Oop, dropping stuff. So you can always trim it too. Give it a little haircut if it needs it. Or you got too much of it, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take a few off. Very, very skinny thread though. And if you want to make it bigger, you can kind of adjust it too. I'm going to just trim this one. And maybe that end. Okay, so there we go. Beautiful cord. Now I'm going to add some over here too. So we're going to put some glue down again. You could do this with a glue dot. And I'm going to do just a little bit on this edge. So it's kind of like it's all going, I don't know how to say that, but like, you need less on the little bitty flower. Some of those little pieces there. It'll come off. So on this one, I'm going to do smaller circles, just 2 of my fingers, and then trim it. Okay. And then we'll stuff that under the edge. Yeah, the glue dots do work well. I could probably do that and stuff it under there. Do I have a glue dot on my desk? I'm not sure. But you can just kind of stuff it under however you want to. Okay. So this is how my little strings are going to go. And that's just some gold string. It's just fun to add that extra little thing to it. Yeah, glue dots for sure. don't have them on my desk. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're gonna do some greenery now. So I'm gonna I put my gold here. I'm gonna do some greenery out this way. So I'm just gonna go underneath my thing, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue to it. So, whoops, a little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue on the back, and then just arrange your florals. I'm gonna go here, kind of in the middle. I'll do one of these big ones. Well, so somebody said orange and purple are not colors I tend to do often. I said, I know that's the case. Like, I don't do them often either. I don't use orange nearly enough. But when you look at the color wheel, orange and purple do really nicely together on the color wheel. And so I was like, I'm just going to try it and see what I think. And I rarely do this like super yellowy background, but I was just how many times am I going to say super? I was very impressed. Yeah, hot glue is a good idea. I just don't use it very often because then I have to plug it in. Okay, let me come up with a question for y'all, and I'll let Rachel pick out our live winner, okay? So let me think of a question, Rachel. You see how that's a different color too? You see the difference in the greens? I love how that turned out. Tell me, okay, here's what I'm going to say. We're going to vote for the giveaway. Do you have more stencils or dies? Just put stencils or dies in the chat, and then Rachel will pick something out. So what do you own more of, stencils or dies? Oh, we already picked the live winner. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we did that. Hey, Paper Tray and Rachel, would y'all tell me who they were? I know that I saw Tammy as I thought was Rachel's winner. Lots of dies. Yeah, I definitely have more dies as well. And you can put as much greenery as you want on here. I like to do mine kind of in odd numbers, so I'm going to do just a couple. And I really love this dark green, so I'm going to stick with this one. Yeah, I definitely have more dies than I do stencils for sure. But I think that stencils are so perfect for, oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, so what I did on the other, but we're going to go ahead and move to our other cards for right now. We'll finish this off later if we can. Yeah, that's a great idea about the series. I'm sorry. So Julie, did we do the live winner, or was that just Rachel doing it? If we didn't, would you pick it from dies and stencils answers? We're waiting on her to see on that one. Okay, so what I finished this card off with is this word strength. And let me show you this set. If we'll probably do some stamping in a little bit and we'll make it, but this is the set. It's called, this is Big Sentiment Strength. And it's got this strength here, and then on the inside of the card, I really love these sentiments. So this may strength rise within you on this journey, and may you be reminded of just how much you're capable of. I think is perfect for this card. I also am going to use this on another card that we're doing soon. But I'll put strength on it, but we'll wait till we're stamping some other stuff. Look at how this goes. So here's kind of the original with the big sentiment on there. I think it looks really nice to have the sentiment across the middle. And these are the two versions. And each time they're slightly different. So I think this one has more of the gold spritz. I felt like I didn't get it dark enough on the first one. So I did a little bit more on this one right here. So you can see that gold a little bit better, which I really loved the sun rays. This one, you can see it, but it's covered up a little bit more by my greenery. So I wanted to make sure when I remade the card that I got that gold really looking good. Okay, Joy Ledbetter's the winner. Yes, I do put stencils together. So we can finish this off in a minute, but let's move on to our other ones. We're going to use those backgrounds. Let's see if they're dry. And we're going to use our backgrounds. We're going to ink smush some flowers that we need to dry. We'll just make some really cool things here. So we've got 3 flowers and 3 middles. Yeah, these are getting nice and dry. Good. Okay, that's good. So for the first one, I'm going super bold on the background, which you'll see when we do our ink smushing. Let's just smush some of these. And I'll show you, this paper is just different with the smushing too. It really keeps the color well. So let's smush these and make us some multicolor flowers. Yeah, congratulations, Joy. That's so exciting. Joy, tell us what you got to go look at right now. What you going to get with your gift card? So I'm just taking the center little parts out of this. These are the middles. I want my middles to be a little bit darker, so you'll see that I'll do some stuff with that. And we're going to do lots of smushing because we're going to mix these 3 colors up again. Because I want it to match our other stuff, we're going to be using these 3 colors again. And we are going to create some lovely multicolored roses. I think that I'll show you the way that I think that this works the best. I'm just getting these little centers out. Yeah, that's a great idea. They could be used for so many different things. The strength ones could. Okay, so we're going to ink smush these. I'm going to add just a smidge of water to them, and we're going to start with yellow because yellow's our lightest color, so it's the easiest to kind of add through here, and it mixes so well with everything else. So you want to start with the yellow if you can. Let me grab some plastic. Grab from my plastic supply over here. And how many? Here's some more plastic. I got a few different ones. So I've got a couple. I think I'm actually going to cut this in half since these are so small. I'm just going to cut this in half so that we got 2 pieces. So you need a plastic piece for each color. So we need 3 plastic pieces to do this ink smushing. This paper that I'm using right now is this heavyweight mixed media paper pad. It does give you different results than using watercolor. It's a really bright white. It's almost like it just intensifies the colors for some reason. So it definitely is an interesting paper worth trying out. So this is what it is. Rachel, can you answer Melissa's question? I'm not sure what she's asking about because I don't think I'm part of a blog hop. Okay, so we'll start with yellow. And I'm going to add actually, I don't think I'm going to add any water. I'm just going to, well, let's add just a little bit. Where'd my spray bottle go? The other fun thing you can do with this is you could do, instead of water, you could use Perfect Pearls or something like that. So I'm going to create myself some ink on here, add just a little bit of water. And I wanted these to be pretty intense because we are going to be doing this on top of a really bright colored cardstock, so they need to show up. So I'm not adding a whole lot of water to these. I'm going to start just straight up with color first, and we'll see what we think. I did these a few different ways. So I'm kind of just taking my yellow and just going around. Doesn't matter because you're going to blend it in with some other things. So just kind of going like that. I know that looks so green on the screen, but it is yellow. It's mustard seed yellow. Sorry, the color seems a little off on that. So I'm going to add some of those. And then I'm going to put aside my yellow because I might use my yellow again. These I'm going to keep as one single. These are going to be pretty dark, so they're mostly going to be pink, and we might actually add a little ink blending to them. If you want to put a little bit of the yellow in it, you can, but I think they look better a little bit more solid than the rest. So let's move this out of the way. And you can always just see how, just wiping off some of the yellow, okay? And next we're gonna go in with a little bit of orange. And I will say I mainly kept these as pink because I really like the pink. So we'll do just a little orange. And I like to fill in places that are white so that you can hopefully get a little bit of these colors, but also mix them together. So I'm gonna add a little bit of orange just throughout, doesn't matter where. They always turn out just a little bit different, but we're gonna do a lot of pink, so just hang on. Okay, so you got some good orange on there, good orange on the tips there. There you go. So we got multicolored little flowers. Okay, so I think that Paper Tray is answering the blog hop question. Okay, y'all are gonna take care of that. So next we're gonna use our pink. This is where it gets real. I love how it looks with the pink. And I'm gonna do just a little bit of that orange on here too, just to give it a kind of fun color. But something about this paper, it dries really fast. So we're definitely gonna do a lot of pink because we're gonna put this on a pink background. So I'm gonna spray here. And I'm spraying just a little bit of water over it so that we can get some good color. Okay. Oh, hey, glad to have you from Nebraska, joining from the road. So have y'all ever tried doing sprays with your stencils? Like we did today with the Spritz, or have you done any distress oxide sprays, anything like that? I'm gonna be doing that in another video coming soon to show you kind of the difference in the two. It does give a different look. It's definitely a little bit more intense. You see how my flowers look? Oh my goodness. These guys look so cute. So see how you can still see your yellow and orange, but you've got that nice little pink pop to it as well. I love how it looks. And I definitely am gonna do more pink than the rest, but I'm going to try to let some of that color slide through there. And then these, I'm gonna do a lot of pink on them. So let's get a little bit more on our thing here. Let's get just a little bit more pink so that we can do our middles, because I want my middles to be very pink. So I'm gonna try to go pretty pink on those because I want them to make sure they show up so you can see the detail of these flowers. Cool. So see how much pinker that is? And I'm gonna actually come in with a little bit of ink blending to make these a little extra dark. So I'm gonna do some, what is it called? It's another color I thought. Oh, Festive Berries. I'm gonna add a little Festive Berries around the center too. But I'm gonna do it with a little bit of ink blending because this, like I said, this paper dries really fast. So I can do some ink blending. Don't you just love those? Oh my goodness. Let me hold these up and show you how good they're looking. Look at that little guy. He's got orange and pink and yellow, and he's gonna look so good on our little sun, our little sunshine area. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think that doing these is just adorable. So I'm gonna let these dry. I'm gonna take these couple off to dry, and then we're gonna wipe our mat down, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of depth to the middles, and we'll put them together and show you how good they look. I'm gonna have ink everywhere, aren't I? Got pieces of plastic everywhere. So let's get this cleaned up. This has been one of those live streams. You got to clean up a lot. There's color everywhere on my desk, which is exactly how I like it. So I'm going to get these off and just wiping down my mat, and then I'm going to actually add with a blending brush just a little bit more darkness because I want it to show up. Let me show you the difference before I add it. So before I add the darker color, you can't really make out the difference in the two because this same color is in here. So I'm going to go up a color and do some festive berries. So let me let that dry just a second, and I need to grab a different blending brush that I didn't put over here. So I'm going to grab that. While I grab it, let me ask y'all a question, and I'm also going to preview the new, the next live stream that's coming up, hopefully on Saturday the 6th. I got to check that with Rachel. So tell me what's one supply in your stash that you have been wanting to use, but you just can't figure out different ways to use it. Whoops. So one supply in your stash that you want to get better at this year. Like, what do you want to try to use more? Sorry, I gotta swipe my comments. And then I'm gonna grab the preview of the star card because you need to see that. And I'm gonna grab a brush to use on the centers of these flowers. And we're gonna put together, we'll build our second card. Okay. So let's put these back on here. I'm going to be using Festive Berries, which is a little bit darker than Picked Raspberry. So these have Picked Raspberry on them, but I'm going to use this right here. Yeah, the foil system. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, had to go to the other room to get this. So I've got an ink blending brush, and let me preview the next live stream so that you don't miss it. If you've been wondering about these little stars, we're gonna be making some fun stuff. Okay, I'm gonna set that back here. All right, so that's a preview for the next live stream, probably next week. Let's add some Festive Berries. Relief paste, okay, that's a good idea. Shaker cards, yes. Oh, shaker cards, definitely fun. Love shaker cards. So this is a little bit wet, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of heat before I add this ink blending because I can tell I'm tearing the paper a little bit. Stencils, alcohol markers. Oh man, I'm bad at using my alcohol markers. So I'm just adding a little bit of heat to these because they're just a little bit wet from what we've been doing. And I want to make sure I can ink blend on them. So you can see I've already started right there, but I'm going to add a little bit more of this dark. Oh my gosh, those stars, oh man, I love them so much. They're so cute. So if you're ordering today, make sure you're using my affiliate link. I would appreciate that. So see the difference in these two? Just made it a little bit darker, and look how it looks on this. It's just going to show up better. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of that to these. So just because you did ink smooshing doesn't mean you can't add. If you just need a little bit more color, you can always come in with a little blending brush and add that color. So if you were the winner of either of those things, Rachel, did you tell them how to contact you? I don't know if she did. And if you were the winner of the paper tray giveaway, then make sure you contact Paper Tray by email and tell them you were the Nicki's live stream giveaway. And of course, you can enter the replay if you didn't win. So we'll do that. Okay, let's look at these flowers. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is a lot, like using something like markers is difficult, and it is hard on your hands. Like if you, I definitely think it's hard on my hands. My hands sometimes cramp up when I'm coloring, so I love using the ink blending, the ink smooshing, and that kind of stuff. Look at how cute those look. Ah. Okay. So I've got a couple of backgrounds that we're going to use. Let's decide which one we want to go with. I think I'm going to go with this more flowy one for this one. And we're going to stamp in the middle of it, and then we're going to cut it out with this really cool die. I love these, the Psalm 46 die collection. I love this shape. We're going to use that shape and the other one they came out with. It is so cute. So I am going to be cutting out the center of this, but I want to stamp it. And I'm going to use a stamp that I did not know was going to be out of stock, but it's so cute. You could use any of the scripture stamps, but I used number 6. Because this is one of my fave songs, and if you remember, my kid just graduated, and this is a great verse for that. It says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace." And I just thought that one, it fits right there perfectly. It's talking about making his face shine, which seems like this color to me. So to me, this is a great like encouragement card for when my kid goes off to college. Even though he's a boy, he still will probably get a pink card. He might occasionally get a pink card. So look at this. Look at how perfect this fits. So you can stamp first or you can cut first. I think I'm going to cut first just to make it a little bit easier, but you could do either. And if you're off a little bit, it gives you a little bit of grace, but I'm going to cut this out of the center. So we're going to have this beautiful sunburst right in the center. So yeah, so it's hard to believe, like we just drug this. All we did was spray water. We put some ink on a stencil, sprayed some water, and stuck this down on it. And look at how beautiful it is. It just amazes me. I can't get over how much I love the colors, and I just didn't expect it to turn out that good, and I'm like really impressed with it. So this one is on watercolor paper, so it's a little bit different than our other paper. It has more, I'm going to say this paper has more movement to it. It has more where you can get kind of the lines outside like that versus the one that was the scrapbook.com paper, which we used for our Amazing Grace card, or our large big blossom elegant rose. So I'm going to line this up and then we're going to stamp it. Let's hope I cut it out of the center right. Really make sure you've lined it up good. So I need to make sure I've got that even. Okay. More to add to your wish list. I know this one is sold out. Number 6 is sold out. I'm so sorry. I did not know that when I made the card with it. Sometimes it happens. So look at that cool die and look at this shape. It's got those little dots all around it. It's so adorable. Okay, so we need to do some stamping. While we're doing stamping, let's just do all our stamping. How about that? Well, we'll just do this stamping. I am going to use my stamp wheel, and I'm going to use, since this is watercolor paper, I'm actually going to use a different ink than normal. I feel like with watercolor paper, sometimes I need to use a heavier weight ink to get that nice black on there. I may need a piece of tape to hold that down since it's a little bit warped. Let me put this up. Yeah, you can use the negative and positive. Speaking of shaker cards, what? Wouldn't that be a cool shaker card? Oh man, and I've got these adorable pink sequins that we're going to use on this card. They would look so good. Look at how this would look. What if you put these inside your negative? Ooh, you could do a little mixture of red, orange, and yellow. Oh my goodness, that would be so fun. Okay. We might do that in a minute if we just feel like it. We'll see how everybody's going. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one back up. This shape is called Reflections Psalm 46 Die. Yes, I love seeing what y'all are looking, like what y'all are working on and what y'all are wanting so that we can make tutorials that'll work. Tell me a stencil that you think would work great for this stencil printing. Tell me some patterns that you think would look really cool. I would like to hear some stencil patterns. Oh, okay, so Paper Tray says number six got here 10 minutes ago, so she's gonna add it to the stock right now. Well, how cool is that? Thank you. Okay, so here's number 6. Like I said, the reason I chose this one is because it says, make his face shine upon you. And I thought this So Radiant stencil was the perfect, like, culmination of that. Just, you know, like I said, there's always just a little bit of meaning in these cards. There is not a exclusive coupon code today. They do have a new release, but there's no coupon code, just giveaways for today. So I'm going to hold this down just a little bit because I want to make sure it stays. And then to stamp this on watercolor paper, I've really had a lot. I think I want to move that just a little bit, sorry. Let me adjust it. Okay. I've had a lot of good luck with stamping on heavier weight papers with this ink. It's the Altenew Obsidian. You don't see me use it a ton because it takes a little while to dry, but it's really nice on watercolor paper and better press paper. Ooh, a peacock feather. That would be a great one to do this with. Somebody said they were playing with a peacock feather stencil while they were watching this, doing this kind of technique. That would be good. It's something, you need something that can be abstract enough that if you do go outside the lines, it still makes sense, and you want the colors to kind of blend with each other. So, all right, so here's our number 6, which she's adding to stock right now. I'll probably stamp it twice, but let's see how it does with one. Even one is fine. I'm telling you, this ink does a good job at stamping on this kind of thick paper. It does take some time to dry, so I'm not always patient enough for it, but when you're using it on these really thick papers like better press paper and watercolor, it works really well. Okay. Look at that. Oh man, that's awesome. Oh yeah, dotted line stencil would look cool. Oh, sorry, Paper Tray says there is a code. Whoops. $10 off orders 100 or more. It's May release 26. Please use my affiliate link, which I'm sure that Rachel will put in the chat for you. My affiliate link is what it means when you click on my link and then you go purchase. That gives me a little small commission and it does not cost you anything. So just make sure you do that. Waves. Ooh, you could do so much with waves, Cindy. That would look really cool as one of these stencil prints because you could do multiple colors of like blues and greens. That's a great idea. Great idea. Good job, Cindy. All right, yeah, it does fit perfectly. So we got this. Let me get a little bit of cleaning up here. Figure out where I put it. So this is Numbers 6 is what the verse is. There are lots of verses by Paper Tray. I just liked this one because it says make his face to shine, and I was already doing a radiant stencil, so it just seemed like it fit perfectly. Okay, so we got to put our flowers together, but look at how good these are gonna look. Oh my goodness, and we're gonna use some bright pink paper. Now this one I was playing with distressing the edges And I think I'm going to leave that there and try it out. I just kind of think it gives the edge just a little cool look. So what I was doing is I was taking this cardstock, which is called Raspberry Fizz, and I was going along it with my scissors and just kind of roughing up the edge. You don't have to do this. It's just kind of like a fun little technique. And then in the original card that I did use some distressed Spritz on this, which makes it very nice and sparkly, but is almost impossible to see on camera, I think. So I'm just kind of roughing up the edges just to give it a little fun, kind of distressed look. It just kind of makes them a little bit fluffy. Oh, thanks so much. The stars are super fun, guys. I cannot wait to show you those on a live stream. So this is just roughed up with scissors. I just like how that little edge looks. It just looks like you did a little die on it. So then I would suggest considering this if you're doing this in person, but let me find it. I did the, on this card I did, and I know it's hard to see, but on this one I did raspberry, picked raspberry in the Distress Spritz. Let me see if you can see the shine. And it gives it a little shine, but it's not super obvious, so I'm not gonna do it on this one. We'll compare them on there. So we are gonna add some sequins and some flowers. We're gonna use those cute little pink sequins. So I thought these looked perfect. So let's put our flowers together and we'll get this card put together. Yeah, I love this color. This is called Raspberry Fizz, isn't that right, Paper Tray? I think it's called Raspberry Fizz. Let me look. Yeah, here it is. Also, if you are purchasing cardstock from Paper Tray today, I have got to show you this color because there's another color they have that I recently discovered, and I think that it is so beautiful. So if you're picking up paper today, Raspberry Fizz, if you like bright pinks, you've got to see this color. Look at this one. Ocean Tides, amazing. Let me show you. I started and haven't finished, but look at it with white. I started the birch tree stencil, and look at how beautiful that background is. That's called Ocean Tides. So if you're picking up any extra cardstock today when you're purchasing, this color is gorgeous. I just had it in my little thing and I wanted to show y'all because I've been like loving it. It's just a color cardstock I haven't seen many places either. So let's put these centers on this flower. And then, let's see what time it is. We'll probably I'll show you the last card and how I created it, but we won't go through the whole thing. So we don't keep people too long. So I'm just lining up my center. Look at that. Oh, love all those colors. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's put this center on. I love this. I love their cardstock. It's so fun. So what would y'all call this technique? I think it's called stencil printing, what we did with this. Anybody know the official name of the technique? Where you put the ink on the stencil and then you put your paper on the stencil instead of actually stenciling through it? Oh yeah, so that's what it is. I have never seen that color before, that Ocean Tides. And Paper Tray says it's exclusive to them. Nobody else has it. And it's an amazing color. I bet they wish they had it. Glad you got the exclusive on it. Yeah, Rachel's putting up the coupon code, which I'm sorry, I did not know that we had one today. But that's cool. May release $10 off 100. So if you need to get to that 100, grab you some Ocean Tides cardstock or some Raspberry Fizz. They're super cute. Okay, so I'm going to go, we're going to kind of organize it like this, but we're also going to use these pink sequins. These sequins, I don't even know if they make these anymore, but you know if you're a fan, you know I've been trying to use all of my embellishments. And so I saw these and I thought, ooh, that is gonna look awesome on this card and with this color scheme. So I started playing with them. So let's go ahead and do just a little bit of foam tape on this, mainly to keep it from being too warped, because it is watercolor cardstock, so sometimes that kind of warps. So I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape, and just a little, not a ton, probably 2 or 3 strips. Oops, cut that one too long. Yeah, so sometimes I do this little challenge for myself where I'm like, you know, I don't use orange enough, so I'm going to start using some orange. So that's kind of what I did. I saw that sunshine thing, and I thought about a sunset. The So Radiant stencil made me think of a sunset. And so then I started thinking of these colors, and I was like, I really need to try to use some more orange. So I was playing with that. Do y'all do challenges for yourself like that? Where you're like, I haven't used orange, I must try that. I love to make challenges for myself. If you want me to make a challenge for you, I will. If you just need a challenge to kind of help you get out of the box, I'll think of one right now. Think of one I've been needing to do. I'll give y'all a couple of challenges. You want me? How about hit yes if you want me to throw out some challenges, and then you can tag me on Facebook if you make it, and we'll see. Yes, this foam tape that I'm using right now is 1 millimeter thick, but it's good to have all the different thicknesses, or you can just layer them on top of each other if you need different thicknesses. So this one just kind of gives me some structure to this so that it's not so warped. Maybe a little bit, but it gives me a little structure. A lot of times I do just a couple of dots of glue just so that I can move it around if I'm off center. So I know it's not because it needs to stick, it's because it gives me a little bit of movement. Okay. Yeah, do a challenge? Okay. Okay. Let me think about my challenge for a second while I line this up. Ooh, I think I have one. Okay. Okay. Hang on. Okay, here's my challenge. It's going to be a 2-part challenge. Okay, let's go with, I'm going to tell you the color that is hardest for me to use is yellow. And I struggle, that's kind of what I did with this. I struggle with making yellow not just on a flower, like putting it in the background. So the first challenge is use yellow. Yellow needs to be like either the background or a primary part of your thing. And then I want you to use a stencil in a way you haven't before. Either emboss it, don't ink blend it, just spray it. Keep it real light and easy and just play with it. But I think you should try to make yellow in your card. It's really hard to do. I feel like you could do some flowers, but yellow can be a little bit of a challenge, and it goes well. Let's look at the ink. I'll give you a little hint. When you're looking at yellow, there's a lot of different types of yellow, but yellow and purple are complementary. So see, so you know that you can do yellow. You can make a version of this card with yellow and purple, and it's going to look amazing. You could even go a more orange yellow and create that blue violet color that we kind of did. So just think about your color wheel. If you have to use purple, you can, or you could use a yellow, a blue, and a red, which are the primaries. Those always work well. So you've got options, but let's see if we can make the base of the card some form of yellow, okay? And I do have a Facebook group. It's called Nicki's Crafty Crew, and you can post it in there. I'd love to see it. And there may be a prize. Ponder on that. I might send you a card as a prize. So if we get enough entries, how about that? We need at least like 10 people to participate, and we'll go yellow as a main component of the background, and using a stencil in a way that you haven't before. If that's ink blending through a stencil, fine. If that's putting paste through a stencil, that's fine. If it's embossing a stencil or spraying some spritz over a stencil, just something that you haven't tried before. Like, get out of your little box there. Try that out and post it in Nicki's Crafty Crew. I'll put the challenge in there later too, in case you forget what I said. Okay, let's assemble this adorable card. We're gonna need a little foam tape because we've already foam taped the middle, so we're gonna make these little flowers stand up just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna add some sparkle with these sequins. So you do have to kind of be careful you don't cover up your verse down here, so we're gonna place that one first. And this time I'm gonna go 2mm foam tape just to give me a little bit of height. I got these new scissors too, by the way. They're interesting. They are super sharp, and they, which one am I supposed to be putting on? They're very sharp and work really well. They're just kind of like an odd little shape, but they've really been kind of nice. So I know y'all were like, man, you've got some big scissors, because I usually use these huge ones. I needed something a little bit smaller. And I'm liking these. I bought these at Simon Says Create to try out. So I'm going to kind of layer. We're going to have to go off the page just a little bit to make sure we don't cover up the verse. So put just a little bit of foam tape on that one. So go like right here. Okay. And like right about here, so I'm not covering up the verse. And then this one, we will add a little bit of foam tape too. Yeah, a technique you haven't tried before, specifically, it can be with anything, but I was kind of thinking of stencil. Just because we've been playing with stencils today. Okay, so we'll do our little triangle of flowers, and then we're gonna fill in some cute little sequins. And I'll show you what these, just think about your sequins. And there's lots of different kinds out there. These are just kind of a pink silver one. Oh, is that what, so are these good? Like, I've been using them for foam tape and they do seem to work that way. So are they made for foam tape? I don't know if they're made that way or not. Okay, I'm gonna do one kind of in this little area. We're just gonna put our glue dots down and put down some sequins. See what we got in here. And it just gives that little bit of sunshine to it. You could put them on this too if you wanted to. Do y'all do this where you like search through for the size you want? Do that all the time. Okay, and then I'm going to put like 3 down here. Put a big one right here. Maybe a little small one right there. Maybe one right here. Sometimes I like to just go ahead and put on my glue, because I feel like if I don't put the glue on, then I'm going to sit there and worry about where they're going. Yes, I love these colors as well. Y'all tell me, if you were going to do this sun stencil, tell me some out-of-the-box type colors you might use. I think it would look nice with like teals and purples. Tell me what you think. Sequins can be, I know that I've got a little tool for this, but I'm trying to use my tweezers. Yeah, I love these sequins. Okay, I'm gonna put one, I think I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. The only thing about all the different sequin sizes in one container is that you have to like sort through them. Okay, there we go. And that glue will dry clear, so it's gonna be fine. Let's look at this one up close. And then we'll look at our other ones for the other ideas and give you some more ideas. Look at that. I love those sequins. And you could just use some kind of clear sequin, because this pink kind of drowns it out a little bit. But I love how it turned out. What do you think about these little flowers with the ink smooshing? Tell me if you are let's go. How about yes or no, I've tried ink smooshing? Yes, have you tried ink smooshing, or no, you have not tried ink smooshing? So here's how it looks. Like I said, the first one I did do some spritz of raspberry. It was the Distress Spritz. I did that on the background. I like how it looks, but it's just hard to see it because this background is so dark. So this is kind of our two versions. And you see that these flowers are different each time. So I did a little bit pinker flowers on this one, and then when we ink smushed this time, we got a little bit more of that orange and yellow. Yeah, good. All right, so ink smushing is a great way to use up the plastic on your desk too. If you feel like, oh, I'm just throwing that plastic away, I feel better when I use it to ink. So I love that it just gives, like, everything on this card is just happy. So let's look at our last one that we did, and I'm going to show you these, how I did this one so that you know, but we're not going to make the whole thing. I'm just going to show you from these backgrounds. So here's what we've got as our backgrounds. We did a lot of printing, okay? We did a lot of stencil printing. So I used a background like this as the actual backdrop, but you could use any of these, could be your backdrop. You could even use that if you wanted to, but I liked these smushed looking ones to be like a tie-dye almost looking background. And then I picked one that was a little bit more defined, like this one, for the center. And then I kept the color scheme going, so we still got all of these that we could use. Like we can add these to our plan for when we do a whole background technique. But this one I used, let me show you the dye that I used and the ink that I used, because that made a big difference in this card. So let me just show you those. I used this ink to stamp happy birthday. See how it's a bright pink ink? And I went around this die cut. So let me see if I've got that die cut over here. I used the Love to Layer Whimsy die cut, and I cut out the center. Then I went around that center with the pink ink, and it made this outline. See? Yes, so Card Refinery says, or Rachel says, can you show the frame-worthy dies? Yes, I can. Okay, so here's what we've got on here. We use those pink sequins again. We use some pink ink, and I'll show you what I used for that, but look at how good these pink sequins look on here. Look at that. They look good. That would look great as just like we said, you could even take your other background like this, raise it up, and that could be a shaker card. Okay, let me show you those dies again. Somebody's wanting to see the frame-worthy. Is that the one they wanted to see? Frame-worthy. So these all have a frame and this. So basically it's like an outline right here that fits. Let me show you how it fits on these. Each one fits perfectly. So this one fits on the outside, so it would make a nice shaker card because it's got that little ledge around it, so it could potentially be a shaker window. And all of them fit that way, where they fit, the other die fits on the outside edge of this. So it's really nice. And it's got this side and this. So we've got kind of like a, what is that, a hexagon? 1, 2. Yeah, a hexagon, a circle. This to me kind of looks like a mouth. I don't know what it is. Or it could be like an ornament. Could be either. All right, and then we've got kind of like an abstract shape here, like that. It almost looks like a little diamond. This fun scrolly one. And this. So if you looked at them compared to the card, if you want to see how big these frames are, let me show you. I'm going to take one off. Should probably just take the one off that I had. So it's about that size on the card. So they're a good size frame. This one's about the same. They're going to take up probably, I don't know what I would say that is. That a third, maybe more than a third of a card. But they will fit a lot of sentiments. So you can put all kinds of things in there if you wanted to. Or you could do them as a, yeah, Or you could do it as she likes that, looks like lips or an ornament. Sorry, when you catch me like figuring out what it is when I'm right here, I'm like, well, it could be an ornament. It could be lips. You can make like a little mouth that's smiling. All kinds of things. I love to like think outside the box. Okay, so for this one, we used Love to Layer. Sorry, put it in here. We did Love to Layer dies, cut out one of our things here, put some sequins on it, and did Happy Birthday. And Happy Birthday, this set, if you're also adding things to your list, this Happy, it's called Happy Everything. Gosh, I love this set. I love the fonts, but I love that it has birthday, thoughts, anniversary, for you, holidays, hello. So you've got Happy Retirement. I mean, how many retirement ones do you have? Not many. But if you want to look at, I don't know if these fit in the frames or not. Oh, last thing I did on this card is I did wrap around a piece of ribbon. It's just a piece of yellow ribbon I had just because it was one more thing to add. I like how on this one, the pink is where I put the pink sequins where the pink goes, and I did a few little pink on top. So let's look at all the cards again so you can see, and then I'll let you go. Yeah, it's great shapes. Okay, so y'all tell me before you go. If you're gonna say yes or no, you're gonna be in the challenge. I wanna know how many of you might be in the challenge, and then we'll make a prize for it. And if you have not joined my Facebook group called Nicki's Crafty Crew, please do. Please post your cards. I love seeing them. Okay, so we made so many backgrounds today. These are just the ones we have still left over. Okay, we did this with stencil printing is what I'm going to call it, where we inked the stencil, and that one I got a little too much water on, but it kind of looks interesting. We inked the stencil instead of inking through the stencil, and just made some really fun options that look great with this So Radiant die. Okay, so yes, that Happy Scripties font is amazing. So we did this card, it was our main card, and yes, I still need to do the strength part of it, but I don't want to keep y'all too long, so I'm gonna do that on my own. I might make this card the this might be the prize for the challenge. I see some yeses. Might try the challenge. Okay. All right, good. I hope that we'll have some people try it out. And we can do that challenge. It can be over the course of a couple weeks. You don't have to do it like immediately. All right, so here are these two. I'm going to add strength to this one, or I might add a different sentiment just for fun. But I love how it turned out with strength. With this one, we did the ink smooshing. We did the So Radiant stencil coming out from behind it in that beautiful fossilized amber distress spritz. So this one we sprayed through a stencil, and then we did the pattern paper on here with our beautiful big blooms. I think it's called Elegant Rose. And so here's kind of the original. Here's what we made today. I did a little bit more on the stripes, which I liked. Then we did this card. My original, I did a little spritz on the background. This one, we kept it plain. I like it just as much. And we did ink smooshing on the flowers. We did our stamping on top of this beautiful die, which we cut from one of those backgrounds that we did the stencil in. So one of our techniques with our stencil. So cute ink smooshing, added a few little sequins to this. And then the one that we were talking about at the end that we made using some of those backgrounds uses kind of the tie-dye look background. And then another one of these was just Happy Birthday. So with the word strength, there is a die for that. And what it does is it die cuts, yes, it die cuts around the letters. And it die cuts, so I stamped the word strength and then I die cut it out of white paper. So yes, it's kind of like a shadow around it. Okay, Nancy says, is there a question for the replay? Yes, let me think about that. Why don't you tell me in the replay your favorite stencil of all time? It doesn't have to be the name of the stencil. It could be just what the stencil was of. Like, what are you using the most? Dots, circles, sun rays? Are you using geometric stencils? Just tell me what your favorite stencil pattern is that you have ever used. I definitely have a few favorites, and I would love to hear what yours are, partially so that I can discover them too. And that will be the replay question. You'll answer that question, and then you're entered into the giveaway for another $50 gift card. I will be back in about a week with another live stream for this release. We'll be doing the stars in different ways. We're going to do a fun fold card with that. We're going to do some stitching. We're going to make some baby cards. So that will be coming soon, so stay tuned. And I just hope that y'all enjoyed this. Make sure that you have hit the thumbs up. And make sure you check into the replay later if you want to enter again. We'll put all these here so you can see them. I think I'm just going to have to pull these two out because you got to see all that detail. We also use that Amazing Grace stamp on the back of this one. Let's see if I'm just going to go like this. There we go. Now you can see them all. The live question was, tell me your favorite stencil pattern that you've used. I love hearing what different kind of stencils are useful to people. Like for this one, it's a sun ray pattern. Do you use dots? Do you use words? What is your favorite type of stencil to use? And make sure to, if you are checking in, that you hit the thumbs up. Don't accidentally hit the thumbs down. And thanks so much for Paper Tray for sponsoring. It was really fun. We had some great giveaways, and thank you, Rachel, for giving away an extra. Rachel just gave away extra just in honor of Memorial Day, and I really appreciate that. So I hope that I gave you some fresh ideas today on how to use some stencils. These are some things that I hadn't thought about in a while, and they can create some really amazing cards. So I want you to stretch those stencils, try using them in different ways, and I will be back soon with another live stream. I've also got another 2-for-1 card that will come out with this release as well. We'll be using the sun rays in that one with some sprays. So it's going to be really fun. Yeah, I love this as well. Any last minute questions or anything else that anybody's got? Don't forget that if you did enjoy the live stream today, that you make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't subscribed, that you're not going to get notifications as easily. So make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the thumbs up so that people see this replay. It really helps on the replay. And make sure if you're going shopping today that you use my affiliate link, which is in the description. It will also be in the chat, and it will be in the pinned comment. So I hope to see you on the replay as well. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I am headed to Nashville to the craft retreat, and I will be teaching there in person. So if you're there, make sure you find me and say hi. All right. Have a great one. I'm going to sign off. Thanks so much. Thank you, Rachel, for helping. Thank you, Paper Tray Ink.